My girlfriend and I had been together since 2020. Early in our relationship, she told me she wanted to wait until marriage before having sex. I respected that. I never pressured her. I loved her, and I believed waiting was something important to her. Sex was never the most important part of our relationship to me. If she wanted to save that part of herself for marriage, I was willing to respect it. Then we broke up. We were apart for about 4 months. During that time, she met another man. They were together for around 2 months. And eventually, I learned they had slept together. Now she wants to get back together. And the problem is that I still love her. But I cannot stop asking myself one painful question. Why was she willing to do with someone else what she had never wanted to do with me? I am 24, and she is 23. We met when we were still in high school. We started dating in 2020. For a long time, I honestly believed we had something special. We were not perfect. We argued sometimes, and we misunderstood each other. But most of the time, we could sit down, talk about what was wrong, and still treat each other with respect. That mattered to me. I felt like we were growing together instead of simply dating. I knew her habits. She knew mine. We had watched each other change from teenagers into adults. She had become a huge part of my life. Somewhere along the way, I started imagining that she might be the person I eventually married. This was never a casual relationship to me. There were years of memories behind us. That is part of what makes this so difficult now. Early in our relationship, she told me something important. She did not want to have sex. She wanted to wait until marriage. At first, I had to think about what that would mean for our relationship. After thinking about it, I realized I was okay with waiting. I did not have a huge sex drive. More importantly, I loved her. If this mattered to her, I did not want to pressure her into changing her mind. We still had affection and other forms of intimacy. But there was one boundary we never crossed. I never tried to convince her. I never wanted her to say yes because she was afraid of losing me. Eventually, I stopped thinking much about it. Waiting was simply part of our relationship. She wanted to save herself for marriage. I believed her. And respecting that choice felt like one of the ways I could show that I loved her. About 4.5 months ago, everything changed. We had a fight. Looking back, it feels stupid that something so small became big enough to end a relationship that had lasted for years. But emotions were high. Things were said. And we broke up. At first, part of me believed we would eventually find our way back to each other. After being together for so long, being apart felt strange. But the weeks kept passing. During those 18 weeks, I did not date anyone. I did not sleep with anyone. That was my choice. We were broken up, and I knew she did not owe me loyalty. Technically, both of us were single. Emotionally, though, I had not moved on. I missed her. I thought about our relationship often. Sometimes I wondered whether we would eventually talk again, understand what had gone wrong, and find a way back to each other. What I did not know was that her experience of those 4 months was very different from mine. While I was still emotionally attached to our relationship, she had met somebody new. I did not learn about him from her. Eventually, a mutual friend told me that my ex had met someone. That alone hurt. But I understood that we were broken up. I had no right to tell her she could not date someone else. Then I learned more. She had apparently been with this man for around 2 months. And during that relationship, they had sex. That was the part that completely changed how I felt. When I first heard it, I almost could not believe it. My first reaction was not anger. It was disbelief. For years, I had believed she wanted to wait because marriage mattered to her. I had respected that boundary the entire time. I had never pushed her to change it. Then, during a relatively short breakup, that boundary changed with someone she had known for far less time. My mind immediately started asking questions. How could something that had seemed so important for years change so quickly? It was not because I believed I owned her. We were not together. She was free to make her own choices. What hurt was realizing that I suddenly did not understand something I thought I had understood about her for years. I know she did not technically cheat on me. We were broken up. She was single. She had the right to date somebody else. She also had the right to change her mind about what she wanted to do with her own body. I understand all of that logically. But understanding it has not stopped me from feeling hurt. Because for me, this is not only about sex. It is about what I believed her decision to wait actually meant. For years, I believed waiting until marriage was one of her deeply held values. So I treated it seriously. I never thought, she does not want me. I thought, this is important to her. That difference allowed me to respect her boundary without resentment. But now my mind keeps going backward. Was it really about marriage? Or did she simply not want to have sex with me? I hate that I am even asking myself that. Maybe something changed after our breakup. Maybe her feelings about sex changed. Maybe she connected with this other person differently. Maybe she simply grew older and changed her mind. I do not know. I know people can change. Someone can sincerely believe one thing when they are younger and feel differently a few years later. Changing your mind does not automatically mean you were lying before. I understand that. But knowing that does not make this easy. There is still a part of me comparing myself to the other man. Why him? Why then? Why did something she would not do during our years together happen so quickly after we separated? Then, 2 days ago, she contacted me. She told me she wanted to get back together. Suddenly, this was no longer something I could process from a distance. I had an actual decision to make. The hardest part is that I still love her very much. If I did not, this would be simple. I could say no, wish her well, and move forward. But seeing her message brought back years of feelings and memories. I remembered the way we used to talk. I remembered growing up together. I remembered all the ordinary moments that had made our relationship feel like home. And I remembered that I once thought I might marry her. Part of me wants to forget the last 4 months and return to what we had. But I know that is impossible. Even if we get back together, we cannot return to the exact relationship we had before the breakup. Something has changed. Maybe both of us have changed. Maybe that is not automatically a bad thing. But before I could agree to try again, I know there is one conversation we would have to have. And I need that conversation to be completely honest. I do not think the right question is, were you allowed to sleep with him? She was. We were broken up. What I actually need to understand is what changed for her. And what that change means now. When she told me she wanted to wait until marriage, did she truly believe that at the time? If the answer is yes, then what changed? Was it the breakup? Was it the other relationship? Or did her personal beliefs simply change? And if we get back together, what does she want now? I need to understand the relationship she is asking me to return to. I do not want to punish her for something she did while she was single. But I cannot pretend I am fine either. If I take her back while secretly carrying resentment, it will eventually come out. Maybe during an argument. Maybe months later. When something reminds me of what happened. Pretending the pain is gone would not make it disappear. And that would not be fair to either of us. She should not return to a relationship where her past is used against her every time we disagree. And I should not return to one where I constantly feel hurt and insecure. I still love her. But I am beginning to understand that love cannot make this decision for me. I also need trust, acceptance, honesty, and the ability to stop comparing myself to someone from our time apart. What happened during our breakup cannot be undone. If we try again, I would have to accept that. And she would need to be honest with me about what changed. And what she wants from our relationship now. Maybe her feelings changed. Maybe her values changed. Maybe the breakup changed the way she saw relationships. I do not know yet. But if we talk, I want the conversation to be about understanding, not punishment. Getting back together only makes sense if we can build something healthy from where we are now. Not from who we were in high school. Not from the relationship I remember. And not from the future I once imagined. Before I tell her yes or no, there is one question I need to answer for myself. If she tells me the complete truth about what changed, can I accept it without using it against her later? If the answer is yes, maybe there is something worth rebuilding. If the answer is no, then loving her may not be enough reason to go back. And maybe accepting that is the first step toward making the right decision.